You know what? Yes, Noah, how about that? Every time Tommy will do his top 10 this week, which if I will remind everybody, we now have the production value to do this.
Whoa.
Those will be Tommy's top 10s. And then, yeah, Noah, you do a set of pull-ups because that will just be our celebration of being back to the season.
Hey, I'm getting ready for season.
No, here's what wait. No, I'm just thinking of this off the top of my head. This is like, you know how Dickie, or who is it? Not Dick Vitale. Who's the one that oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm forgetting. Was it who puts on the helmets?
Lee Corso.
Lee Corso.
Lee Corso.
Noah, this can be your like Lee Corso type moment. You are the guy that makes his game predictions while doing pull-ups, just screaming, I got Helix by 7. Woo! Deal?
I got Helix by 1,000.
What is that? What kind of exercise that is? It's like a pull-up, but you're like also doing legs at the same time. That's crazy.
Pull-ups and abs and legs at the same time. They call it pull legs. I'm just kidding.
Wait. That has to go on the poll. So what am I wording that? Is it
pull lags? Like pull LAGS.
Do pull lags stand for what is it? Push-ups?
Pull-ups, legs, and abs.
That can't be true.
It's a imagine if it gets 100% on the pull. Like, Tommy, you don't do pull legs, you're not official gym member. If you don't know the pull legs.
All right, guys. Let's talk some actual football. I have a Robbie Owens playoff postseason idea that I want to run by everybody. But before we get to anything specific like that, I just kind of wanted to open the floor to the reaction to our top 10 was kind of interesting. There were certainly some teams that people agreed with, some teams that people did not agree with. Bodie, you've now been out to a couple of teams though to see them. So anything kind of, I don't want to redo that top 10 until maybe we've got a game or two under our belts, but anything shifting amongst your perception of the teams that we've addressed there?
Yeah, I don't think so far. Just really the reaction is guys are just so grateful to be out there. I've seen two teams in person, and both were definitely following protocols. And it is interesting to see with so many sports starting at once and all the action happening around fields and on the track, and so many sports happening at once. And once these next sports start with baseball and softball, and then if we eventually get to these indoor sports, which looks like it, just so much happening on campus. And but for the top 10, I don't think I'd change much. It'll be interesting to see how each team gets up to speed here with games and scrimmages only a week away. So
have you already picked what game you're going to first?
There's a couple. As always, I want to make sure that the admins are good with media being there. I do have my new media pass in hand, but just want to make sure that because I know each district and school may have different protocols, but there's a few I've circled.
I'm glad you actually bring up going to games and getting protocols and whatnot. Jonathan Rifkin is sitting in now on the Zoom, and he is one of the people that will be out at a bunch of games doing play-by-play for us, live streaming it here on our YouTube and on the CIF Sports 365 app. He needs to figure out what his first Friday Night Lights experience will be. So throughout the show, if you guys stumble upon any games that you think of from that first week, just feel free to lob them over at Jonathan. Jonathan, you can also find him.
Are we talking
Twitter.
Scrimmage week or are we talking actual week one?
I'm saying probably actually week one, but he should still attend a scrimmage. So let's play it both ways.
Oh, I'm ready to go on scrimmages.
There you go. We're back to that week 0 paradox again. That always I can never figure it out.
Well, with next week, I know some teams are playing it as official game 1 and some are using it as their scrimmage week, which is the difference if they're trying to get in 5 games or 6. But
this is week 0 again. I hate it. I hate
we're not doing this again.
Week 0.5.
Should we put it on the poll at SD Prep Insider? Do you wish that the week 0 had gone away with the pandemic?
Call it week whatever you want. They're back on the field playing, and I'm happy about that.
Fair enough. it'll be, I think, kind of interesting. Do you guys mind if I throw out the Robbie Owens idea that he had? I was talking with him.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
He is saying that everybody, and I like this. I'm gonna make a bold claim that I would like to expand his idea to county-wide. But he's saying that with their league in the Grossmont Hills being so small, with just them, Grossmont, Steele, and Granite, they don't have a ton of league games. They have to schedule a bunch of other games. They want to get some sort of opportunity to do something fun later in the season. So those 4 teams are looking at canceling their last game of the season, leaving it open, and trying to find some teams in the southern section to also cancel. Like if 4 San Diego teams do it, 4 southern section teams will cancel their games and all meet up as like a de facto like bowl game, just do their own Southern California regional championship, find the biggest game that they can play. And I'm saying, I think everybody in San Diego should go ahead and, unless it's like a league game that you have to get in, I think everyone should cancel their last game of the season right now, or unschedule it. So that everyone can team up or pair up and do some sort of league championship or championship.
They would have to go to Orange County. They can't go past Orange County though, right?
Exactly. That's what I was going to bring up.
There's still
so they're going to get stuck with either Trinity League.
Yep. And that is legitimately Robbie Owens by name said that he and Scott Longerbone want to play Mater Dei and Centennial and Orange Lutheran, and they want to finish off the season with a de facto state championship game against the winner of the Trinity League.
Well,
I like the Centennial's what are they, the Big 8, right? They play in the Big 8.
But does the county touch?
Yeah, they're in Chino.
They're in Riverside technically, right? Or are they?
Yeah, I think they're good. No, I think they're good. I think they can play.
Just in general, I like the idea of still coming up with a way to come up with some sort of championship games, and not have it all just end on, all right, well, we're going to play our senior night, the last game of the season.
No, I definitely support the creativeness of that. As we go on, there's no way that there's no teams that have to shut down for a week or 2 or positives. I don't want teams.
Brody, I want to mute you just for putting that into the universe.
I don't want teams to cancel a game and then be like, oh, well, we had this one at the end and now and we got 2 games and we could have had 4 or 5. Like,
why do you got to put the negative out there in the universe, Ricky Bobby? Why you got to put that evil on us?
I think it's a horrible idea because the scrambling it's cool for like the teams that are going to get to play in that quote unquote bowl. But then what happens to teams that are supposed to play? They just lose a game, or they have to scramble to find another one, or they play the other.
Everyone finds something that like a de facto league championship. Then you play for second place in league, third place in league, whatever it is.
It's a headache. And then you have teams that are like, well, we were supposed to have a home game and now we have to play an away game. We don't want to do that. It's like scheduling a game week of is a lot more difficult than I think people realize. It's more difficult than looking at like, oh, who's got an empty spot here. There's a lot of logistics involved, and it's especially now with all the how crazy it is with transportation too. I think it's a very bad idea, but that's me.
When this fall, when we were covering a lot of games in Arkansas, when those teams would find out maybe about a cancellation on Monday or Tuesday and they're scrambling, they would have to go to Texas or Tennessee to find games sometimes. So I like the idea. I'm just not sure how realistic it is. And I don't want it to cost teams a couple games because they left something there and then a rule changed. And
Tommy, number 10. Tommy, number 10.
You sprung that on me like I was not ready. Okay.
All right.
Number 10, never sleep.
Never sleep. Fair enough. We will get to the rest of Tommy's top 10 throughout the show. We'll be joined by Ron Gladnick, the head coach of Torrey Pines, in about 15 minutes. And I've got now 2 people talking to me about how there are freshmen that are going to be getting the opportunities this year because of either kids just not showing up when they're coming back, and teams are smaller numbers. Maybe it's no fresh variety of situations, or the kids just bigger and stronger. What do you think that this year might potentially do to the overall quality of San Diego County football in, let's say, 2 years, when all these freshmen who are getting maybe some extra varsity reps that they wouldn't have otherwise are juniors? Noah?
I would say exactly that. It's that playing these freshmen early is going to have a long-term positive effect on the county. you're going to see guys not only get the experience, but they're going to get the confidence. There's a difference when you make a play against kids your own age, and I'm supposed to make that play, but when you make a play against older kids, you tell yourself, wow, like I could really do this against anybody. So you're going to see that long-term effect, and hopefully you see the confidence come so early that these freshmen actually produce some good numbers this season.
Tommy?
Sorry, we asked a question.
Never mind then. Just keep on going.
Well, I just now I'm like looking at my list to make sure that I have it all down.
Deal.
So
we'll come back to you.
Sorry,
Tommy, we will come back to you for your number 9.
Sorry.
He's too busy doing voiceovers from Alice at the Palace.
Yeah, that too. The Nickelodeon Mouse at the Palace.
You want to explain that one to people so that we can they can call up the correct visual, Tommy?
This was
just look at my Twitter.
Deal. Fair enough. You can find him at Real Tommy Morris on Twitter. Let's see. How about you, Bodie? What do you? I mean, you think that this will have any sort of actual blip? Will we get a good generation of kids countywide?
Yeah, I think obviously with the half season and no playoffs to play for, obviously teams are still going to be competitive and want to win games, but I think coaches are going to be happier to maybe play guys and keep guys healthy throughout. So maybe those younger guys do get an opportunity. Maybe the game's a little closer at the end and they can get in for a series, or they're in on special teams, something like that. But it has to help, I would think.
Jonathan, you're always welcome to jump in on any of this kind of stuff. But I will, if you don't.
Well, if the door's open, I'm going to walk right through it. Are you kidding me? I love this stuff.
Yes, sir.
No, I think Noah brought up an interesting point about like confidence, right? Because it extends beyond just, they're only playing a few amount of games and they're going to get varsity reps. They're doing it with a short practice schedule, right? Like they're practicing just weeks before they're playing. And when you look at the college season, right? Like these guys in new systems, freshmen, sophomore, transfers, whatever, red shirts, they were learning their playbooks over Zoom. They were meeting their staff over Zoom. They weren't having padded practices. They weren't having full practices, and they still went out and they executed. And the ones that executed well, those are the ones that are going to be better off because they built this confidence and this belief in themselves that is like, well, if I could do this on a short season, on a short preseason, and learning the playbook over Zoom, give me a full off season and see what I can do. And I think that's what we're going to see with a lot of these freshmen is, yeah, they're going to be getting varsity reps, but it's going to be this confidence that they instill within themselves, that then when they go out and they execute and they see that their abilities, right? Well, give them a full summer, give them a full preseason, give them some playoff experience. They're going to be better off in 2-3 years than they would have been if this almost never happened.
Hey, I'll say this. Like, when you apply for a job, you have your resume, right? These kids on their resume, they're going to say, I learned the whole playbook. And I learned the whole playbook through Zoom during the pandemic. So when they get to college, it's not going to be, like he said, they're going to have that experience, and it's going to be beneficial to them in the long run.
Are you eating a cutie right now?
I'm eating a Christian.
No, what is that? That's like a little tangerine. Isn't that what those are?
I'm eating a Christian.
He's making a joke.
Yeah, deal. Fair enough. I know that I don't get to. I just wanted to make sure that the absurdity that what I thought I saw on the Zoom here was going on is that Noah just decided mid delivery of a take to crack open a cutie. That
every time. So I'm in the Zoom mode where you can only see who's talking, and every time Noah's talked, he's been in a different room doing a different thing.
That's amazing.
Keeping it fresh.
We'll put it on the poll. Are you impressed by the Lexina household? He's got a garage. He's got the pull-ups. He's got snacks. He's got jewelry. Oh man. I'm really just thinking about, though, also some of the conversations I've had with coaches about, yes, kids are excited, but they were already at the point where they were talking about kids. Hey, you should go do track. Hey, you should go just be ready to do a season 2 sport. I will be curious. Do you think we will see an uptick in participation in some of those season 2 sports? Like, I feel like there might be some track teams that are just going to get flooded with kids who want to do something, and baseball teams. Like, do you guys think that we will see kids going out for spring sports that might not have if this was a regular year and they were really just football players or just something like that?
I think the opposite, because now you have kids that are almost stuck picking one, especially if kids played 2, even some kids who played 3. they all blend together now because you got baseball starting basically on week 1 of football and basketball starting at the same time. So it's kind of, it's too much to play more than one. So I don't think you're going to get any new kids who didn't previously play sports. I think if anything, it'll make the rosters a little bit thinner.
I disagree.
Can you imagine?
I think that we're gonna see more.
Ahead.
These kids have been stuck inside for a year, man. Like the last thing that they, especially in San Diego, if we were in, I don't know, some Midwest place where, Des Moines, Iowa, where it's cold and it's rainy outside and mud season just starts, maybe I'd agree with you. But like the weather's beautiful now, and it's almost summer. And the last thing that these kids want to do is be stuck inside. So if they're not back in school and there's an opportunity to go, you're running a 15-second 100-meter, fine. But at least you're getting outside. At least you're doing something productive or what feels productive. So, no, I think we're going to see fresh faces, fresh athletes out there.
I literally don't know what
Can
mud
you
season
imagine?
is. What is mud season?
Boy, you need to get out the city.
That's crazy.
Huh?
That sounds terrible. Does it rain mud?
Yeah, no. So basically what happens is, like, in Iowa, they play high school diamond sports, baseball and softball over the summer because after the snow melts, it's too muddy. It's called the mud season, so they can't play it in the spring.
That sounds terrible.
Interesting. I was gonna say, can you imagine someone doing like a Deion Sanders and just like playing in a playoff baseball game and then going back and playing on a football game right after? Like that would be so beast.
Yes,
Hits a jack. He's like, all right, I got to leave 5th inning. Like we're up by 10. I'm just gonna go to this football game and return a kick to the house, like first possession.
No, why do you
That'd
have
be
to ask
deep.
if you can imagine it? We've already seen it. His name's Mac Bingham.
But not like in the same day.
I think that there was
He would have
probably,
if they'd let him.
yeah, I think there was
He would have
probably,
if they let him.
yes. I mean, I don't know, man. We don't know. He might've gone and played some illegal nighttime baseball adult league on late Friday nights. Or maybe just taking some
After
batting
dark
practice
league.
to warm up before football games. Who knows? Mac Bingham built different.
He is built different.
He
That
is
boy.
built. Dude, we've had a lot of really good baseball players come through here in the last dozen years, and we're going to get Marcelo Mayer to be one of the top draft picks this year. It's going to be a lot of fun. But, I mean, I'll say this, man. I love seeing all of the kids like Keone Cavacao and Sterling Hayes and people that have gone out the last couple of years, either pro or college ACC type ranks really succeeding. It is, it is dope. Kevin Abel, that's another one. I'm really excited for baseball. I have to bottle that up though a little bit for football. We've got Coach Gladnick joining us in about 10 minutes, hopefully. I don't know if we wait for him or not. I feel we wait forever for him. I don't want to put that on the poll because he'll read it and he'll take it the wrong way. But I'm scared of him. So I will wait for him for whatever. So he might be an hour and 10 minutes from now. Wanted to just kind of say, is there anything specific? Just go around the room and just. Oh, also, Tommy. Is number 9 ready?
Yeah, sorry, I was muted. You ready?
Yes.
Correctly pick the right line at the grocery store. Number 9.
All right, give number 8, please, too, which is because I took a while to get to number 9.
Number 8, speak all languages, including to animals.
Oh, including to animals.
Ooh, I want that one.
I want
that one.
Bodie, anything specific, like just one team, one plot line, one player, one thing you're really looking for in that first week of games?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many good games. I think the one that I've really zeroed in on is Helix and Saints. They played. It was the last game for Saints last year. It was an open division semifinal game. I believe the score was 12-7, which would not have guessed that between those two teams. But coming back, we know that Helix's quarterback situation's changed. I'm sure they haven't named a starter at this point. The rumors are out there that they will start a freshman there. But I think that's kind of the best place if you're going to be a freshman with the talent surrounding him. You got one of the best offensive lines. You got a really experienced running back who came in last year for Elion Noah and Christian Washington. You've got weapons outside. I think this is a team that, despite we missing out on Tyler Buckner getting a chance to play for them, I think this will be a game in week 1 that will tell us a lot as the season goes. And I think both of those teams can use that to jump forward, and whoever wins it make a run from there.
Tommy, number 7.
Number 7 is super strength.
Noah Lax. I will ask you if you got anything specific you're looking at countywide.
This might be a little, what is it called? A little controversial. But I just want to see. I want to see how the ADs of the schools that didn't really get a lot of time with their facilities, with their players, how they react when they see their team on the field compared to the ADs that or the schools like Saints that had like a really good offseason, given the conditions. They still got to get a really nice offseason, got to work out. And I want to see the difference in how they react, because I feel like this should be an eye opener to schools to invest in your athletics, man. I think it's very big in the community. It could do a lot of big things for the school, bring a lot of camaraderie. And I think that without them preparing could have before the season, I think they should invest in that, because you're going to see kids from Saints, like we talk about the big games, that are going to do great because they had that offseason. Then you're going to facilities. They didn't have those same resources to get their kids right for the season.
Tommy, number 6.
Number 6 is instantly learn things. Like if you're reading a book, like it just goes in your brain immediately, or if you watch somebody do something, you can instantly do that thing they're watching.
My big thing is going to be Byron Cardwell. I want to see what the Morris running back can do. That is a run-heavy offense. So I will go ahead and actually assume that they would be the one in San Diego that might not be that hurt by an abbreviated, shortened off-season or early season, preseason scheduling practices. Just put Byron Cardwell, student body right, 450 yards a game, 350 yards a game. And it seems like there could be some massive numbers there. And I want to be in early on that I know that I'm not the first one, but I'm trying to hit this at GameStop at about I feel like I'm getting GameStop at about $60 right now if I buy in early on Morse. So I'm putting all of my assets there early in the season. Tommy, number 5.
Number 5 is be 6 foot tall or taller.
Tommy, let's give us your take on what you are looking at early in the season.
Early in the season, I want to see, normally you see the defenses kind of take control of things first. It's easier to pick up defense because it's reactive, where offense you have to kind of learn. So all the offenses, I feel like, are going to have to keep things pretty simple. So I'm looking forward to some defensive showdowns, some low-scoring games.
Tommy, number 4.
Hey, it's not for everybody, huh?
No. Number 4 is super healing. So, like, if someone breaks their leg or whatever, you just, point at them and then, bam, it's fixed.
Oh, you can heal others.
Yeah, I'm a really nice guy. So
Oh, wow. So
it made number 4.
Yeah, so I made number 4.
Love it.
Jonathan Rifkin, what's something that you're looking forward to your first week or two here in covering the San Diego CIF section?
I'm excited to see the individual performance. Who's been preparing in the offseason, who used their time wisely and who didn't, right? That's going to be very apparent. Noah talked about the schools themselves and the ADs. I'm interested in the individual performances. And I'm going to keep my eye county-wide, right? I'm not looking just at the Saints. I'm not just looking at Cathedral. I'm not just looking at Helix. I'm looking everywhere. I want to see who stands out, right? Because, yeah, there are 3, 4, 5 stars, but there might be somebody off the radar who spent their entire offseason working their butts off to get to this point without the knowledge that football is even coming back. And those players are going to be apparent, and they're going to stand out. And there may be a 3, 4, 5 star who didn't use their time wisely, and they're going to get outperformed by somebody else. And I'm excited just to see who emerges and maybe who take. I'm not excited for anybody to take a step back, but it'll be apparent to see who didn't, I should say, use their offseason wisely. And I'm excited to see just how they put it out on the field this season.
Along those lines, I will say that I'm assuming that Patrick Henry will be the first offense to put up a huge number, like an over 60. I feel like he's got a lot of weapons that are ready to go there, and they were close to breaking some scoreboards last year, so I don't want people to be surprised by there. But I do agree that it might be a pretty defensive struggly couple of weeks. Tommy, we are at number 4, number 3. Where are we?
Number 3, it's reading minds, so that if someone is thinking something negative of me, I can figure it out right away and be mean to them. So number 3.
would you be the ultimate person at debate radio if you could read minds? Like, would that be a skill or an asset that you would want in this business?
I think it would help, but also would hurt because the audience would have no idea what you're arguing against because the other person would have to talk. You would just be arguing against their point, and no one would understand what's going on. So,
well, so wait, so then you would be what? Skip Bayless?
No, yeah.
Hey, you see that new contract?
No, yes,
4 years,
$8 million
32 mil.
Yeah, I don't understand. Who watches that show, actually, in all seriousness?
Too many people. Too many.
But, like, do they actually watch it? And,
all right, guys,
care?
real quick, we got Ron Gladnick, the Torrey Pines head coach, joining us. So perfect. We're in the right spot at the right time. We're now joined by Torrey Pines head coach, Ron Gladnick. Coach, thank you very, very much for joining us. Hello. It is good to see you. I'm sorry that it's not in person, but it's good to have you here. You are on with Bodie DeSilva from Scorebook Live, Tommy Morris, we got everybody here. So we're going to be coming at you with questions kind of all over. But if you don't mind giving us about 10 minutes, we'd like to hear a little bit about how basically you are standing atop Mount Olympus right now, bestowing this season upon us. And you have gifted us you've gifted the land with sunshine again. So that has to feel pretty good. Hit me with some of the cliches of how it feels, or I mean, just are you finally done? Can you put that all to bed to rest? Are you still having to fight for stuff, or are you able to now just focus and enjoy a season?
Well, we're still dealing with some fringe things. Obviously, the testing component, getting that organized. We've come up with some really great solutions to that issue, and we're still hoping that in the next week or two, we're going to hit that magic 7 or below, or the vaccination metrics will reach a place where the red tier expands from 7 to 10. Because once that happens, then testing is pretty much a non-issue for probably 90+% of the state. In terms of Mount Olympus, for me, this has always been about kids. And I've been doing this, between college, high school, for almost half of my life. And this last year, I've never seen kids more sad and unhappy. And, for me, I just couldn't look at my kids anymore, and when we started, I really didn't know that we would have a chance to succeed, but I felt like it was important to try so that I could look my players in the eye and go, as an adult, I did everything I could do to help. But once we started chunking away, got a toehold, got a foothold, and then really got it rolling, I felt like we could get to where we are now.
And Coach, what was that turning point? You mentioned at first you didn't know if it was going to work out or not, and then the light at the end of the tunnel happens. What was that moment, kind of the breaking point in the whole process where you realized this is actually going to happen?
January 21st at 4:00 in the afternoon when my phone rang, and it was Gavin Newsom. 13 days after we started. So in 13 days, when we partnered with Brad Hensley from Let Them Play, who is an amazing man, incredibly focused, just did an amazing job. When we got to that place where we drove the Facebook page from 700 people to 25,000 people in 13 days, at that point, we started to build enough critical mass where we obviously caught the attention of the people that mattered. And really what turned this thing is through a contact of one of our parents, I was able to send the data package to a guy here in our area who is very close with Gavin Newsom. He forwarded the information to the governor, talked to the governor, because I told the guy what our plan was. And basically, the governor thought it was a good idea to call and talk because the governor wanted sports back. He's in a tough spot. This is a big state. I feel for the guy. I think, when I talked to him, I said, look, the mistake we've made here is the approach has been so myopic on the virus that no one's looking at collateral damage, and the collateral damage is everywhere. So from that moment on, he put me in touch with his chief of staff. We kept organizing, and the thing just slowly moved forward.
I want to talk a little bit about the season because that's why we're doing all this, so that you could have one. You've got Cathedral Catholic, Carlsbad, El Camino, Mission Hills, San Marcos, and LCC. So that feels like, I mean, I know that you always like to take on one or two big ones from the Southern section, but that feels like you're going to get just about all the normal level of stress and aging that you would get, because it's compacted into 6 straight weeks. What are you looking at this season with your squad?
I like our squad. We've had some kids make some tough decisions, in terms of 2 sports. And so our numbers aren't as high as I'd like them to be, but, we have a pretty talented roster. I think package wise, we can do some things that, can cause problems. That'll be hard to defend. The focus now, obviously, is we've been getting ready to play for a year, transitioning to actually playing, is a different thing. And our kids are working hard. They're just happy to be out there. I've always told you, I like playing big games. To me, if you're not playing games where you're learning about yourself, then I'm not that interested in a win, that I want to play somebody that I know we're going to beat. I want to play teams that matter. And our schedule is pretty reflective. I think 5 of the 6 teams are top 10 teams. Is endeavor.
Seems like you got a lot of talent on that defense this year. Several guys committed Division I, and just committed in general. Is that going to be the fun? You get to blitz again, and that or what do you think will be the shining part of this team in the first couple of weeks? Because offenses, I still think they struggle, no matter if it's run heavy and real simple. I'm worried that some of these teams are going to click. So we're going to see that defense really carrying you guys.
Well, I feel good about I think it's the best defense we've had in my 7 years there. So we personnel wise, we can do some things we've never been able to do before. We feel like we can play some man coverage on the corners, which is going to allow a whole lot of talented guys to be coming from a lot of different angles. And, I think that bodes well for us. We're physically a pretty big football team. So, I'm just going through our front 4 where, 6'5", 265, 6'4", 320, 6'2", 230, and 6'7", 255. Our front 4 guys. And then we got 2 Division I kids at the linebacker. We've got a 3rd kid, Griffin Grant, who is the #1 midfielder in the country for lacrosse. He's 6'4", 205, but he wants to play college football, and the kid is a stud. So I think that's a kid that not a lot of people know about, who in this 6-game season, everybody's going to know about. So yeah, I'm pretty excited.
Sorry about that, Coach. The conditioning season, obviously is shortened, and aesthetically it looks very different. What are some of the keys that you're stressing to get your guys conditioned, ready to go for game 1 next week?
Well, there's a difference between conditioning and, what I call game conditioning. So we're in good shape. I mean, we've been working for a long time. Our kids have been, in the weight room, we've been running. Now it's taking that general conditioning and converting it to how do I recover from impact and physicality. And, so we do a lot of short burst work where we get into it, we get in the huddle, we get into it again, so we kind of get a rapid fire progression of plays much faster than you would see in a normal game, to be in a position where we can carry ourselves for a 4-quarter football game. We're going to play a lot of kids too. We're going to, we understand that this is a very different year. We're going to be moving kids in and out of the game to keep guys fresh.
Bodie, you had a question?
Yeah, Coach, you kind of answered it there, but without playoffs, how do you go about what's kind of the message you talk to the guys of the end goal? I mean, obviously they're glad to be back and playing, and you don't play a full league schedule because you have so many teams. Is it just week by week you go about?
Yeah, I think, Bodie, I've approached this a lot differently than I would a normal fall season. I look at every game we get as a gift, right? So my whole thing for our kids is we want to compete, We want to play hard. We want to feel good about ourselves. But I want my players to build memories. I want them to have experiences. I want them to do all those things. 5 years from now, you don't remember the score of a game. You really don't. But you remember the stuff you did with your buddies. You remember the laughs you had on the practice field. Those are the things you remember. So, in a 6-game season, our goal is that our kids get as complete an experience as they can possibly get, while hopefully competing at a high level, because if we don't compete at a high level, we're going to get our butts kicked. So.
Well, you will see them competing at the highest level as they take on their rivals just down Delmar Heights Road, Cathedral Catholic, the first week of the season. Coach Gladnick, thank you so much for joining the show, and we look forward to seeing you out at a game or practice very, very soon. Thank you for all of your work getting all of this going.
Good seeing you guys. Take care.
Take it easy. Tommy, number 3.
Where are we at? No, we did number 2, didn't we? 2. 2 is flying, because you could travel places faster and easier, and then also you could be in the NBA. So 2, traveling.
Tommy, number 1.
Number 1 is time travel, so that if you do anything dumb, you can go back and undo it. So that is number 1 is time travel.
I think the Butterfly Effect covered. That's not a good idea. If you can't even make it a fun movie with Ashton Kutcher, it's not a good idea.
I will not watch anything Ashton Kutcher except for that 70s show. So I did not see that movie.
That's a great philosophy on life. Guys, I just want to say thank you for sticking around through all of that. We always like to close the show by going around the room and just any last points that we did not get to. Jonathan Rifkin, let's start with you.
We talked about it. So everything that you guys talked about is on my mind.
This is where you pitch the download the app, follow
download, play 365 and listen to our games of the week here on San Diego Prep Insider. I will be out there each and every Friday, maybe some Saturdays, maybe some Thursdays. We'll get some other sports on there as well, providing you quality play-by-play and some overall general live streaming content as things get rolling here.
Some of our lives will have to be corporate schlicking now, now that we are just these people. But hey, it's all good. Bodie De Silva, what do you got going on? Anything that we missed this show?
Yeah, we have a new app out at SB Live. So go download it, check out all the content for myself down here and Connor and Lance up in the southern section and our writers across the country.
I will say I apologize just for the timing. I don't control the fact that we're on another app, but we're both having you download 2 apps as a show. I encourage you to download both of these apps. They really don't do the same things. They do very different things. One does scores and stories. One does videos and streams. The Scorebook Live app, download it. The CIF 365 app, download it. Have some fun. And then Tommy, did we got to you or no?
We have not. I was going to say everyone follow Jonathan and tweeted him where you want him to go.
Yes.
Okay. He will be highly, highly influenced by Twitter. So
the gas tank is filled. The gas tank is filled. Let's get it.
Get him.
I don't know, man. I kind of like some of the rivalry suggestions of some of these big games, but I also kind of like getting in early on some of these quarterbacks that are legend. I don't know. I'm probably just going to say let's all meet up at Helix Modern Day because that's going to be a hell of a game. No, that's all about it, folks. Thank you very much for tuning in. We will talk to you next week with more San Diego Prep Insider.